so I'm gonna be reading a book and it's just gonna be an audio because something. And it's gonna start in 3, 2, 1 now. Nobody's Princess by Ether Frenchner. Prologue. When I was 4 years old, my father, King Tyndareus of Sparta, dedicated a shrine to his fair goddess, Aphrodite. He ordered it built on one of the rooftops of our palace because he said the Queen of Love and Beauty was worshipped best under the beauty of an open sky. You could reach the holy place only by climbing an outside stairway, each step covered with painted tiles that told stories about the life of the goddess. Most of the gods were born in the usual way, but not Aphrodite. She was never a baby, never a child, and she never had to put up with any of the problems of growing up. The goddess was born full grown from the waves of the Middle Sea, when the god Cronus spilled the blood of his father, Uranus, over the sea foam. I never did understand why bloodshed would give birth to a goddess of love and beauty, but that's the way I was told it happened. Aphrodite sprang to life out of the waves, and as soon as the world saw her, every living thing fell in love with her beauty. The winds themselves fought for the honor of carrying her to shore. Now that I could understand it was a part of the story I liked best. Even as a very young child, I thought it would be a wonderful thing to be able to fly over the waves free as a seabird, seeing new lands and having grand adventures. I didn't care if I grew up to be as beautiful as the goddess, as long as I could be just as free. The shrine itself was a simple thing. A wooden ark sheltered the painted clay image of the goddess, an image as big as a 2-year-old child. I was playing in the shadow of my father's throne. On the day he received it from the Cretan artist who also made the tiles to adorn the stairs. At first I thought it was a wonderful doll and that it would be mine. I ran forward, threw my arms around Aphrodite's neck, and gave her such an enthusiastic kiss that my lips marked the paint on her cheek. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, and so I was confused when I looked up and saw expressions of shock on the face of almost every grown-up around me. Some of them were whispering to each other and scowling at me. I began to feel afraid until I heard my father laugh and say, "The child is wiser than all of us. My little healing has hit on the perfect tribute for Aphrodite. What better welcome for the goddess of love than a kiss?" And he ordered the servants to make a new dress for the dedicated ceremony in 3 days' time. On the dedication day, my nurse aunt showed me and my twin sister, Clytemnestra, by the hands as we watched our father and mother perform the welcome rites for the goddess. Our brothers, the twins, Castor and Polydeuces, were 9 years old, so they were given the honor of holding the garland of fragrant springtime flowers that the king and queen would place at Aphrodite's feet. The boys didn't seem to be enjoying the privilege. The two of them fidgeted as if they caught fleas from one of the father's hunting hounds. Though my parents and we royal children were the only one entitled to come before the goddess in her new home, the nearby rooftops were crowded with the nobles of Sparta, all of them eager to have a good view. How splendid the men looked with their long hair curled and oiled. The women in their finest gowns were their blue and scarlet tired skirts, jingling with gold charms. The sunlight was stripped with the rising smoke of precious incense brought from across the middle sea. The melody of flutes and instrument harps over the beat of little hand drums filled the air. The music made me want to dance, so I did, pulling my hand out of Ion's grasp. She smiled. What a clever child, wanting to offer the goddess such a lovely dance as a gift. But not just yet. Dear one, this isn't the right time. You're interrupting the dedication ceremony. Wait until it's finished, like a good girl. As Lune gently took my hand again, my parents called out to welcome Aphrodite of the foam. They were dressed in their finest robes and their best jewels, all to pay reverence to the Queen of Love and Beauty. The image of the goddesses was a marvel. But that day I saw something that I thought was never more marvelous. Look, Lone, I cried. Isn't she beautiful? Hush, child, Lone said. Look, Ion, I cried. Isn't she beautiful? Hush, child, Ion said. Everyone knows that the goddess is not the goddess, Burr. I pointed at my mother. Leda with my free hand. Mama, she's much more beautiful than a goddess, my voice carried loud and clear across the rooftop. I no sooner spoke my mind. For all to hear then, the air cracked with the sound of Ion slapping my face. I was stunned. She never raised her hand to me until that moment. I hadn't known that the same hand that I stroked my hair or tenderly touched my brow when I was sick could hurt so much. Before I could cry out, she swept me off my feet and whisked me away from the ceremony. Poor Clytemnestra was left behind. Our nurse had been a farmer's wife, but the other servants whispered that ever since she's been brought to the royal palace, she acted as if she'd been born there. Maybe so, but she didn't act at all regal, or naughty, or haughty. As she raced down the tower steps, carrying me over one shoulder like a bundle of old clothes, she didn't slow down until we reached the deserted central courtyard of the palace, where followers bloomed around a white stone well, where she set me on my feet and shook me roughly by the shoulders. Are you crazy? To say such things where the goddess can hear you? She hissed in my face. You've been cursed down on all of us. My cheek hurt, but that didn't bother me as much as the feeling of having the ground yanked out from under me. I was totally bewildered. Ion hadn't acted like this when my death interrupted the welcoming rite for Aphrodite. Why had a few words turned everything upside down? One moment she'd been praising me, smiling at me. Now her smile was gone, vanished behind a mask of anger and fear. Ion's afraid because of something I said. I gazed at her astonished. She looked over more terrified than when Zeus made the sky blaze and roar with the wild thunderstorms. I never imagined that I had the kind of power over grown-ups. They were also the ones who could do whatever they want, make all the choices, all the decisions about their lives. And mine, up until that moment, if someone had asked me the difference between gods and grown-ups, I have said, what difference? Suddenly it wasn't something I said made a grown-up afraid. I can do that. What a wonderful, terrible, dangerous. I can do that. What a wonderful, terrible, I can do that. What a wonderful, terrible, dangerous thing for a little girl to learn. No one is more beautiful than a goddess, Anne told me earnestly. Her face was stiff with fear. No one, man or woman, is equal of the gods. If they can hear anyone even hinting that their only person outshines the mortals, dreadful things happen. Do you want your mother to die because you said something stupid? I stared Anne in the face and stood up all the way. I would just see my mother do when she called on Aphrodite. Aphrodite wouldn't do anything so mean, I said. Very sure of myself. Mama and Papa just gave the goddess lots of beautiful presents and a nice new place to stay here with us. That means they're her host. And you taught me that guests and hosts mustn't hurt each other. Not ever. Do you think the goddess would do something so wrong, Aeon? Oh, child, what's going to become of you if you keep saying such things? The gods don't have to worry about what's right and wrong for mortals, she explained. Can't they do anything wrong, I asked. I don't know. I don't think so. My nurse giggled as if her own words were giving her a bellyache. Why not, I asked. Because they can do anything they like. Damn the gods. She acted as if that explained everything. Then why should we give them presents if it won't make them nicer to us? I wanted to know. They're only going to do whatever they want anyway. I waited patiently for my nurse's answer, but the poor woman just stood there with her mouth hanging open. At last, I said, I think you're wrong about little gods, Anne. They're much nicer than you say, especially Aphrodite. She has to be nice. She's the goddess of love. She never hurt Mama, no matter what I say, because Mama's the queen and she gives the best presents. And if anything happens to her, no more presents for Aphrodite. Right? And the goddess doesn't want that. Now do you understand? Satisfied, I gave my still bewildered nurse a big kiss on the cheek and marched straight back up the stairs to the shrine. I heard her come scrambling after me, but I didn't feel the need to turn around to be sure she was there. Even if I was still too young to have explored every part of our big rambling palace, I knew that I wouldn't get lost because now Avalon was with me. I was convinced that I would please her with my kiss and my dance, and the way I would defend her to Aeon. I imagined that I could feel her hands on my shoulders, helping me up the stairs. Just believing that she was near, watching over me, lifted up my heart and filled it with happiness. The sun beat brightly on the tiles. When I came back out into the rooftop, and the wind carried the scent of mountain pine, the musicians were playing something light and joyous, and everyone smiled when I stood in the presence of the goddess and once more began to dance. Part 1. Sparta. 1. A sacrifice to Artemis. I grew up with the gods all around me. When the dawn came, it was because the goddess Ea fought it. The sun was Aperture. The crescent moon was the hunting bow of his sister Artemis. Every river had its god, and so did each of the winds and winds that blew. From north, south, east, and west, Aeon was the first person to teach me about Zeus, king of all the gods, his queen Hera, who blessed marriages, his brother Poseidon, who was master of the great ocean, and his older brother Hades, who lived deep under the earth and ruled the dead. But most of her stories were about Demeter, the goddess who gave us bountiful harvest. That was understandable. Lone Aeon was a farmer's wife. Even though we were supposed to revere all of the gods equally, most people honor some gods more than others. Why would a fisherman bother making a sacrifice to Hesperus, the armorer god of the forge, when he could be praying to Poseidon for seas and full nets? Why would a metal worker waste time worshiping Poseidon when he could be asking for Hephaestus' blessing? Everyone did it, including me. Ever since the dedication of the rooftop shrine, Alfred was my father's favorite when I was 5. I made a little clay image of her and set it on the table in the room. I shared with my sisters. When Clarissa saw it, she said, "What's that supposed to be?" Apertud, I told her. "It can't be Apertud, it's ugly," she sounded. "Please whisper sound. Throw it away." "It's not ugly," I cried, reaching out protectively for my little goddess. Unfortunately, I moved too quickly. Instead of cupping the image safely between my palms, I knocked it off the table and sent it tumbling to the floor. The unbaked clay shattered to its and I burst into tears. "You're such a baby, Helen," Catherine said. "Why are you crying over that ugly thing? If you want a real Aphrodite, just tell Papa. He'll give you a good one." But I still cried because I didn't want an image of the goddess that someone else had made. I wanted a statue that was my goddess. Lost in the sound.